Hey, and welcome back to the Pixels and Sprites and Nonsense podcast. Sorry, I had to warm up. Episode 23. We're back, and look who's back also, because with me here is Benjiro.
Hi guys, I'm back.
He's back.
Back from the camping trip.
Yes. And also with me is Vash.
Hey.
Hey, he said. And there we go. Today, we got a little thing about the Annapurna Interactive Showcase, and then we're going to dive deep into the Microsoft versus FTC case thing.
Yeah.
That happened.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I wrote a whole bunch of bullet points. We're going to go through some of those things and pick out some interesting details. Also, a lot of leaks and stuff happened with documents that weren't supposed to be uncensored and stuff. So that was fun. Yeah, that's about it. Let's start the show. Hello.
There we are.
Yes, we're back. Oh,
Yes.
I did that automatically? I didn't even click, I think. All right. So, first of all, we'll start with the usual. What did we play this week? Vash, what did we play?
I didn't play a lot. I do hear some feedback from you now, Benjiro. Sorry.
You do hear some feedback?
Yeah, it's the wind. So that's fine.
Might be less now.
Yeah. So yeah, I played Tinytopia.
Mm-hmm.
And oops, sorry. I pressed the wrong button. And yeah, it's fun. I picked it up in the Steam sale.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's also going on right now, right?
Yeah, it started yesterday, and yeah, it's very cheap and it's very fun actually. It's a city builder,
Mm-hmm.
but also a puzzle game
Okay.
because there's some levels in there that you have to balance things out, as you saw in the trailer, which are very fun. You can combine buildings to go to higher tiers, and you have certain missions,
Okay.
and there's also some real life cities in there based on real life cities, so like Rio de Janeiro and Paris, and it's a very fun, relaxing game.
So it's like
And you could,
it's a toy box basically.
it's
like
a toy box, yeah, toy box city.
The wind up Godzilla
Dinosaur.
there.
Yep.
Little nod to SimCity too, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
It's tiny, it's small, it's just fun. There's some fun levels in there. So yeah, I definitely like this game so
Yes.
far. I've been playing it for a couple of hours now since I bought it yesterday, and it's just enjoyable.
Hmm.
You stack up buildings, you can make them higher. Like I said, there's several tiers of buildings. Not all of them, of course. There's also Jurassic Island, a crashed UFO area, and just fun. You can even if you're done building, you can even enact the disasters on your own, just like in SimCity. So you can send a UFO, you can send an earthquake, or a tornado, that sort of stuff. And it looks funny. It looks good. It's a couple of years old now,
Okay.
but I finally picked it up in the sale. So
Okay, I've never heard of this, so that's a new thing for me to see.
yeah,
Interesting.
And physics as
Yeah.
well.
yeah, very physics based.
That's fun.
Very challenging. Like I said, there's a line city. I haven't gotten there yet,
Okay.
but it's challenging at times. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the first game that I played, and I picked up in the Steam sale. And there's 3 games I picked up for cheap. The other one is a Takeover, which is kind of it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It's fine. it works. It plays okay. Yeah.
Okay.
This came out before Streets of Rage 4 came out, so it's not really comparable. It's okay, like I said. I enjoyed it so far. But the art style
But it's
isn't.
not Street. But it's not Street of Rage.
It's not
4.
Streets of Rage. No. No. The art style isn't that great. It has some interesting mechanics.
Yeah,
But other
it's
than
like
that, it's
it looks like it doesn't really know what it wants to do with the art style.
well, in game
You
it
also
does
see,
know. But
like 2 different art styles. You see
Yeah.
very cartoony art style in the trailer, and then you see this
3D kind of like looking sprites.
3D, very plasticky, shiny looking
Yeah.
characters.
Almost like action figures or something.
Yeah.
Like toys.
Mm-hmm.
So if they actually went for the toy aesthetic, I think that would have worked better.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
So
It's
there's
also
some fun stuff in there.
It's very jerky. Like all the animations are very like 2 frames.
Yeah.
It's
like I said, this was in development before Streets of Rage 4 was announced.
Wait.
So-
There's the shooting part in there.
You can shoot your guns. Yeah.
That's cool. That's something I enjoy.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff in there.
I
I haven't
like it
gotten
when
that
games,
yet, but
actually change stuff like that up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a homage to Streets of Rage and
Final
like you said,
Fight and games
yeah,
like
Final
that.
Fight. But also, as you saw in the trailer, there's this afterburner moment in there,
Yeah, I saw that.
which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I also saw like a chase in a tunnel earlier with vehicles.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like I said, I haven't gotten to that part yet. I just
No,
bought it
no.
yesterday, so I
Yeah.
played a bit today. It does feel good though.
Oh, your audio falls out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
still have to find that figure for it.
Yeah, you have to find that issue. But it does play okay. It feels good.
All right, it's responsive.
So it's very responsive.
Okay.
It's also challenging, and the music is done by the same composer of the Streets of Rage games.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So at least
was-
you have that.
Yeah, when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, that's him. That's his style.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, and he worked on this before, of course. Streets of Rage 4 was announced. So yep.
Roo.
I like some of the explosions look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's of course it's a mix of like weird. It's like a really interesting mix actually when you look at it.
It's a weird mix. Like the comic style isn't really my thing, but in game it does look okay. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's a interesting fighter. Yep.
All right. And Benjiro,
Beat 'em up,
what
actually.
did you play this week?
Nothing, or at least close to nothing.
Close to nothing.
Last week I was on a camping trip, so I had plans to take my Steam Deck along, and I didn't. I decided to take the Switch along. I also took along 8 games like Octopath Traveler 2 and a few others, among which was Tears of the Kingdom. So I only played Tears of the Kingdom.
Of course.
Obviously, I was there with relatives, so I didn't have a lot of time. But I think I played like the game for like 3 hours, and it's fantastic to play that on holiday. When you get some downtime or you're trying to put the kids to sleep, it's an easy game to pick up. So I was having fun with that, and I played that for about 3 hours. So I came back from the camping trip last Monday, and I was pretty much beat. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch shows for at least 2 days. And then I heard that I injured myself during a training, so I couldn't use my arm for a good 2 days. It's starting to get better now, but
Okay.
I didn't play any games at all, save for just those few hours I played Tears. So Tears of the Kingdom's still very fun. I'm still enjoying it, but I'm saving it for the big holiday, which starts at the end of July. So it's back in the box, and we're picking it up later next month. I plan to play a bit of the new Final Fantasy. I did get it in, but I obviously didn't play it yet. I played a little bit of Diablo 4 yesterday before my arm started acting up. So I think I played it for about an hour, and I have to say I don't like Diablo 4. Like,
The game
pretty
as
much
a whole?
not at all. You can't really solo the game. unless
Oh.
you do it on the lower difficulties.
Right.
Okay.
Otherwise, there's just too much stuff going on, and if you pick the right class, you can. But if you're just a sorcerer, you're just gonna get mangled. You're gonna get killed, and you need to lower the difficulty. But lowering the difficulty also lowers your experience, and it lowers your drop rate.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of fun out of the game.
Okay. So
Yeah, I'm not. I was a big fan of Diablo 3 because it was kind of easy to get into. You could pick it up. It was very fast paced. You were leveling easily. You basically finished the story in about 8 hours, and after that, you would hit the end game and start working on that. The fact that they announced that seasons are going to work the same way in Diablo as they did in Diablo 3, which means you have to do everything again, from level 1 forward.
yeah.
I just don't see myself doing that. This game is not built in that kind of structure. It's very open. It has a lot of side stuff you can do. It's very slow and methodical. And I don't see people restarting this game every single season, which is going to be like once every 3 months. So only
So
like the really diehard people will do that, and most casuals will drop off if they don't change anything.
so
So we'll see how that goes.
How does that work, by the way? Like, so if the season ends, everybody has to start over, or
No.
like if you're just a solo player and you just want to play through the campaign.
So it's not really sure. They didn't really say how it's going to work, but if I would look at Diablo 3, basically you would create a seasonal character, and that character would have a specific different set of achievements or goals you need to say you need to complete within that season. Like I said, a season will probably take about 3 months. So, and after that, after the season is over, that character will just roll into your regular. Will just roll over to your regular character list, so you can just play that character when the season is over. I imagine it's going to be like that. So you can pick if you want to play a seasonal character, and you would have to start from scratch, and that would happen to you every 3 months, which is fine for Diablo 3. Because you can just basically speedrun the game, and you hit the end game within the first 5 hours, and you can basically complete it within 10 to 12. That's not going to happen with this game. Like, I'm level 37. I'm still in Act 1. I hardly did more. I don't even think I did more content than there was available in the actual beta, except that there is more side stuff you can do.
Okay.
So yeah, it just feels really slow. The builds are kind of boring, and they're probably going to get more interesting. You can reach level 100 in this game, so there's a lot of stuff I haven't unlocked yet. I'm not even halfway there. But but playing it on your own, you're just not leveling that fast, because every person that actually comes in and joins your party, your experience gain goes up by, I think, 20%. So if you're having a full party, you're up by 80%. But just playing it on your own, it just becomes a slog at some point. And if you keep dying at bosses and you get frustrated, you just have to redo the entire dungeon. It doesn't save you in the dungeon. You're just back in the city, and you have to redo that entire thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm kind of soured on the experience. I'm thinking of maybe just putting it back on the first difficulty level. I'm not really sure if this game is for me. Unfortunately, they might change it over time, and hopefully I'll be able to enjoy it by then.
Yeah.
But right now it's kind of a dud.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But that's it for me.
Okay.
So what did you do?
What did I do? I played a bunch of things. Let's see. Where's my thingy? Of course, I played more Doom 64. Still enjoying the game. I think I'm more into the hellish environments right now. And yeah, I've talked about this game. There's not much new to talk about, since the game has a very formulaic structure. Of course, every level is kind of like find keys, find secrets, kill enemies.
Yeah, that's Doom for you.
Yeah, that's Doom. But yeah, still getting new weapons, so that's cool. And it's a different atmosphere than the other Doom games. So, but yeah, there's not much to tell about that. Then I think I'm done with Super Mario Galaxy 2. I've done the extra world, which I did all the extra world stuff basically, which means that the maximum stars that you would get with that is 120. And then I thought, okay, where's the rest of the game? Because I know there's 240 stars. And then I read up that after you're done with that, there's like purple stars you can find in worlds somewhere. So I was like, oh, okay, so we're doing that now. Which I had some, I got some like PTSD from purple stars in the in Mario Galaxy 1, where they were actually really difficult. And it was like, okay, you know what? I think there are not extra worlds anymore, at least as far as I know. And I've done all the extra stars in that as well. So I think I'm done. I'm done with the game. I've done all the extra stuff besides the purple ones. So I decided to jump into the next Mario game, which is Super Mario 3D World.
Nice. What do you think about 3D World?
I like it a lot. It's going back to the more classic Mario design. It's more, it's like isometric Mario in a lot of like the stages.
It's like 2.5D.
Yeah, kind of. But it's very classic. You have this the overworld. You have of course you have new power-ups like Cat Mario, as featured in the movie. Of course, I've seen the movie before, so I did know it was from this game. But
I'm so sick of the movie. Like I bought the movie on YouTube for my kids. I'm sorry to interject this.
No, it's fine.
And they want to watch it nearly every day. I think I've seen the movie like 20 times now. I can literally I can say every line. When the line comes up, I know exactly what they're gonna say. I'm at that point. I hate the movie now. I loved the movie for the first 5 times, but now I'm so done.
I can totally understand
that always happens.
Yeah. Children just love that, huh? Playing movies on repeat. Yeah, I haven't, thankfully, so I'm still in the good zone. But yeah, even the glass pipes are things that are in the movie. But yeah, I like this style of Mario. It's very classic. It's totally back to classic. That's why it's called 3D Mario World. It's not a Galaxy game anymore. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. There's little extra things like where you jump on a big dinosaur and you're going down a water slide and you have to steer the animal, which is really fun. I think I got it at the end here somewhere. Oh, this is the Bowser battle. But yeah, it's it has some kind of like this question mark button mechanics from Galaxy are in there. Even green stars now that I think about it, but these are not the same green stars mechanics. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot. Of course, it's because it's on the Wii U, and this is the instead of like an emulated Wii game that I was playing on the Wii U, this is now a native Wii U game. So the graphics are snappier, it's more fluid, and of course, there's always little new mechanics in there again. Always surprised how they managed to figure out stuff like that. I finished basically the first world where you fight Bowser on a big car. Let's see if I found it somewhere here in the end. Yeah, there he is.
That was a fun one. Yeah.
You have to bounce back the balls at him, and at the beginning I thought, oh, is this everything? And of course it gets more difficult because he's going to throw fireballs, and you have to jump over things and stuff. So,
so how many cycles did it take you? Do you remember? At some point, he just basically restarts the
Oh right. Go here. This is the restart basically.
That's a cycle. Yeah.
I think I did 3 times because what's the problem with this one? I think it got overwhelming at the end a little bit, like when he starts because he does the fireballs are not very problematic, but I think the
spike balls are.
I think the spike balls. That's the ones. Yeah. He throws those around.
I remember those as well. Yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe I've been like I had to like get into it or something because it's not that difficult, but you have to time it. It's one of those timing things where you have to get to the ball early.
Exactly.
And so you can get it, and you have to of course hit it straight. That's another thing. You have to hit it straight, and if you're walking from an angle, you're gonna miss. So stuff like that.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I read past them.
yeah.
I
This
remember.
game is also available on Switch, and it has an additional mode, which is just a
Yep.
4-hour, fully 3D version of Mario. It's fantastic.
Oh,
so if you,
It's really
ever
good.
pick up a Switch, this is definitely one. Just for the additional content, is just super fun.
Yeah, and of course, this game is totally built to play in co-op. If you have friends over, you can play it in 4-player co-op as well.
Yeah.
Just don't try to play it online. It doesn't work.
Oh yeah, that's
it's bad.
Yeah, I can expect that. Nintendo Online is not very good most of the time. But yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. I'm still enjoying it, and I'm on my vacations starting right now, so I'll be playing this and then switching it up with some of the Zelda games during the because I'm gonna be more active in streaming, of course, now that I have vacation. So yeah, and then let's see, because I played a few more demos from the Next Fest stuff. Well, at least I played the tutorial of one, which is this one.
Is that Fortune's Run?
No, this is not Fortune's Run. This is oh shit! I should have written down the full title.
Of course not.
It's Star Siege. It's Star Siege Dead Zone. And you might know the name Star Siege because it used to be a big franchise.
Yeah, it's with Big Macs and stuff.
Yeah, and of course they had the spin-off Star Siege Tribes, which was a multiplayer thing.
Shazbot.
Yeah, exactly. Shazbot that. And apparently there's a new game, and that's this one. And guess what? It's an extraction shooter. But it's a demo and it's online. So one of those things where, okay, you're going to put a demo online for multiplayer games, which means that the servers are dead, basically. So at least I tried. I tried at least the tutorial. And yeah, it's basically an arcade version of Tarkov, where you can loot boxes. There's robotic PvE enemies that you can shoot, and the tutorial of course you learn how things work. But yeah, I didn't I tried to log in and queue for the game, and no one showed up. So that was basically just okay. Well, this is not going to work. At least not until release, and hopefully it'll get a population. Oh yeah, here's I got zapped out of space.
I mean, there is an extraction shooter that just shut down. So.
Yes, also that's right.
The Cycle
Frontier, right?
Yeah,
that's the full name. Yeah, I actually played that for a bit. That was actually kind of fun to have a sci-fi Tarkov kind of game. But yeah, it's hard, man, to make a multiplayer work nowadays.
Yeah, especially with
How's Marauders doing?
I don't know. I'm not really interested in Marauders anymore. But I do know that from the Cycle, the cheating was bad.
Oh.
So that's why they had to shut down. I think they couldn't fix the cheating.
Yeah, because I think I read some reviews because I was wondering what was the state of the game before they shut down. And I read a lot about that. Oh yeah, there's cheaters galore and stuff. So,
yeah, it sucks that it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah,
a very interesting genre for a lot of people, and then there's people that just wreck the game because they want to cheat, they want to win.
Yeah, it's
they mess it up for other people.
Yeah, especially with games like extraction shooters. I mean, that's also why Tarkov is such a big cheater galore. Is there's valuable items to get, right?
Yeah.
And if you have valuable loot in games, people want to get that. It's not like Call of Duty where people just cheat to level up. There's items that they can actually use or maybe even sell in the black market. So. These games are unfortunately big targets for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was nothing to play here. So I decided to start another game. And this was very funny because this game is called Fortune's Run. And when I looked at the trailer for it, I at least the preview window for it, and I was like, okay, I'll just download it. That looks cool visually. I thought it was a boomer shooter, but it is not.
Oh.
What this basically is it's a mix between Cyberpunk and Deus Ex.
Oh,
so it's got
more interesting.
Yes, and because I was not prepared, even at this point playing the game, I thought
shock.
Yeah, a little System Shock in there as well. It has that sneak around in vents and do stealth kills and hack computers. It has all that stuff in it. A lot of dialogue with characters as well.
Yeah.
So
I think you're playing a bounty hunter, right?
Yeah, you're playing a bounty hunter. And it's funny because the demo starts with you actually playing as an antagonist in the intro, like in a sort of tutorial area where you're going after this scene. Because there's a tutorial here it starts in sort of VR mode where you learn the basics of the game. Because there's a lot of movement stuff in it. Like you can jump off walls and you can double jump by off walls, so you can get to higher places. There's little neat movement mechanics, and then you start off as a different character. And you're like, wait, what am I doing here? And then you play a character that's going to investigate the scene where the other character was, basically. But yeah, it's a very pretty game. Like, of course, it has this low what do you call it? Retro art style.
Yeah, lo-fi.
I'm sneaking here. I'm so good at this. And this is actually the first guy that you play. Let's see. Oh wait, but like here you have a full nightclub where you can talk to characters and stuff, and it's very atmospheric. The music is very good. And it just has this full, like, I wasn't expecting this, I was expecting a boomer shooter, and suddenly I'm walking around in a bar talking to people and picking choices and stuff, and I got really into the story and the world building of it.
Oh, nice.
And but yeah, in this stream that I did, I kind of like still was expecting a boomer shooter, but because I was playing it like a boom shooter, I just failed a lot and I got frustrated. And then off stream I tried again because I thought, I still want to see the rest of this demo because I was intrigued with the setting. And then I figured the game out after that. And it actually goes quite deep. Like you can get wounded in certain limbs. So if your legs get shot or whatever, you have to you'll start walking slower and you get hobble a little bit. And you have to use medicine and bandages and stuff to heal yourself up again.
Right.
And then there's also hacking, which is really fun because it's actually manual hacking. So what you have to do, and you actually have to type in login space username space password. You have to figure out this information from pads like this. Right. So you actually have to look up notes and things around the level to see if you can find the login information and stuff. And you have to actually type everything in manually, which is, I think a lot of people were like, I'm gonna have to do it again, And I thought, it really makes you feel like one of those movie hackers where you're typing in commands in a console, which is it's really neat. And yeah, the combat is the only boomer shooter part of it is that the weapons are very punchy, they're very they have good impact and stuff. So the shooting doesn't feel like an afterthought. It's actually it feels powerful and stuff. So you can blow off people's heads and stuff like that. It's really cool.
So I take it because your limbs can get damaged, you can also shoot people's limbs off, or is that not not part of it?
I'm not sure. I think I didn't test it, but I can imagine that you can wound enemies, but I'm not sure if that damage applies that's complicated to this. But you can also
it's all 2D animation, so that might be a bit of an issue.
Well, you can still do headshots, so the game does recognize locational damage, right? Okay. And you can also you can grab characters from behind if you can sneak up, and then you can choke them, or you can you can do other things. So it has a full stealth mechanics in that way. And then you have all these kinds of tools like grenades and things. You can also kick. So if people have a riot shield, you can kick the riot shield, which I didn't know at this point in the stream, by the way. So the reason I died a lot and got frustrated because the shield guys were just unkillable and they would just storm you. So yeah, that was not fun for me. I'm glad I stuck with it because at the end it became one of the more impressive Game Fest demos that I tried. Even like reloading a save, it like rewinds. So you hear like the rewind sound.
Yeah, I
which is
saw
kind
that.
of
seconds ago.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's kind of
pretty cool.
Yeah. It actually really surprised. So yeah, I tweeted about it as well because I think more people should see this game, especially if you're a fan of games like Deus Ex and Cyberpunk and it's really neat.
Yeah.
I also found some bugs, and I've been in the Steam forums talking with the devs about a specific bug. Because if you choke a guy out, and you know, if you hold a weapon and then grab a guy and then choke him out, you'll hold your mouse button, and if he collapses at that moment, your gun just shoots. Yeah, and of course that's gonna alert people, you know, when you're in stealth. So that's so he asked for people's replay, so I recorded a little bit of gameplay for him to check out a few cases where it happens. So so that hopefully stuff like that will be fixed for release, but. Really neat. And
Any
let's
idea
see
when this will release?
Oh, good question.
Probably next year, I think.
Maybe
From what I saw at the trailer. So,
quick, let's check the Steam if there's any information. September 1st. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, September
sooner
1st.
than I thought.
Yeah.
You can still check out the demo, by the way.
Yeah, it's still available. Yeah.
I'm actually installing it right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a big surprise for me. I know I've seen so many games with retro art style that I thought this is one of those games, right? You know, and then you just figure out it's a whole different game. So,
nice.
Really cool. I think that was about it for me. Let me check my list. Yeah, that was it. So let's go to our main topic then.
Well, the main topic is probably last, right?
So we have other things. We have Annapurna. I forgot about Annapurna.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, let's go. Annapurna.
Yes.
So they had a little presentation, interactive showcase, showing off more of the, you know, they always present more of the indie type games, but there were some cool surprises in there.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, where did we start?
First off, some stuff. Yeah.
The talkie.
The first game is Lorelei and the Laser Eyes.
Okay.
And not much is known about the game yet. Even the trailer is very vague. You just see people with laser eyes. There's definitely it's a puzzle game, and you have to figure out what is happening. But the art style reminded a lot of people of Killer 7.
Yeah, that's immediately when you said that, I was thinking of Killer 7, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not. So it's definitely inspired by, but there's something with, it has to do with aliens, I think. Almost certainly. So, from what I gathered from the trailer. But it's a puzzle game.
Okay.
Because in the trailer itself, the word puzzles is repeated several times. There's the narrator, repeats something several times, and I think it has to do with an invasion, but it's very vague, and I really like this concept though. So yeah, I don't really know much about it yet.
No.
There's people that give you assignments, but they all wear masks, so you're not sure who they are.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's weird.
It definitely looks weird, yeah.
Yep.
I guess it's one of those games you just want to stay in the mystery and just jump in blind and figure it out. It's one of those things.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's
September 29th.
It's coming out this year on all platforms. So, yeah.
And then next up, we have a game called Cocoon. Now, I'm not sure, but when I saw the logo, does this have anything to do with the movie franchise?
No.
No, okay, because even the logo, kind of like font-wise...
You skipped too far
I
ahead.
skipped. Why did I skip?
So, this is a game from the gameplay designer of Limbo and Inside, which are both very good games.
Oh, yeah, we did see this game before. I remember the zoom out stuff. Yeah, we haven't heard about this game in a long time, have we?
In a while, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very much in development still. And it's it's kind of like we have to go deeper.
Oh, right.
So you go from world to world, I think.
Yeah, that's like layers, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an onion.
Oh, God. It has layers.
Yeah, no, I love Glass Onion. So
Yeah.
it's a fun movie, but yeah, I don't know, it looks really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the developers are always coming up with new stuff. It seems this is completely different than their previous projects. So.
oh yeah.
All right. After that, we have this game, which is all about photographing with drones, right?
Among other things, yeah.
Among other things, yeah. At least it also has drones. It's called Lush Foil Photography Sim. It's I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Photography sim.
Photography. I'm so bad at English. Okay.
Lush Foil Photography Sim. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks really good because they used the Unreal Engine 5.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looks very good.
Okay, so it's basically photo mode the game.
Yeah, basically.
I wonder if it's like, you know what would be cool if there's a story behind the game as well. I feel like it is. Like I feel like you're making photos, but then you might also discover like an underlying story layer or something.
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe you take a photo and you see something that wasn't there before. You know, something creepy.
Very Japanese.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Japanese countrysides, the Japanese arcs, like.
Yeah, I think it is from a Japanese developer.
Yeah.
So, because there's a presentation of studio. Yeah, exactly. There's a presentation of several, like 2 or 3 studios in the Annapurna Showcase. So and this one and there's a Japanese studio right after this one. So that's probably it.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have.
It's coming from This is the studio from Kyoto.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's the studio. Yeah. That's working on the Lush Foil photography sim.
All right, yeah, because they also do interviews here.
I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. It could be a different developer. So.
Hey, I've been there.
Yeah, same.
Let's just recognize that specific river. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
My wife lived there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here they talk about.
It might be a different studio though. So I'm not sure. But they do that sometimes. They show some of the studios that are working with Annapurna.
Okay, just a different story, basically, different like segment.
I think
it's different game.
Definitely different type of game. So I'm not sure.
Okay, so
but
this
the
is
next
the next
one,
title.
Yeah, to a T, which immediately caught my interest because the song is very catchy. Yep. So you're a character that can only look like a T.
T-pose man. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, it's a very Japanese game. It's from
this stuff.
It's so weird.
Japanese game made in San Francisco.
Well, they're working with Keita Takahashi, and Keita Takahashi is responsible for Katamari Damacy.
Oh, okay.
And Watam and Nobi Nobi Boy. So it's
in the same.
It's definitely his kind of style.
Yeah, but this is definitely a little more character driven. It seems.
Yeah. And there's also fun things that you have to solve things with the way your arms are because you can't move your arms.
Wow.
So
interesting.
You can move your upper torso, I think, but the trailer isn't very clear on what you can do. It's just a fun trailer though.
How does he get through the door? Oh yeah, sideways, of course. Yeah.
Sideways, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he's a surface dog, basically.
Of course.
Or she. I'm not sure if it's a girl or a boy, but and they can fly, of course.
Of course they can.
Because it isn't a Keita Takahashi game if it isn't weird.
Yeah, true.
I'm not really into his games though.
That's okay.
I do have a hard copy.
I really want
Katamari, which I bought in Japan as well. Mm-hmm. So it's a Japanese version.
Yeah, I really want to play this now. It's also made in collaboration with Able Gamers, which is a very good charity.
Okay, so it probably has an underlying story about why. This is like a how do you call it? Like a
disability.
Yeah, it's like represents a disability.
Yeah.
All right, next up, a game that I think I heard the title before, but
We've
I don't.
Seen it before.
Yeah, but I didn't remember it. But yeah, it's called Flock, and you're basically collecting and guiding a flock of different animals.
Yeah. So sea animals, I guess that fly.
Yeah, land sea animals basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I first saw it, it reminded me of Flower.
Ah, yes. Yes, I
A
love
very old
Flower.
PlayStation 3 game. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also on other platforms now, but it definitely reminded me of that, collecting in this case the animals.
Yeah.
But there's also co-op.
Okay.
From what I can see.
Because there's another player there, I think.
Yeah. So, and you even help each other. So
Okay.
it's sort of like Flower meets Journey.
Yeah. Ah, I get it. Interesting.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the gameplay. There's also a narration from the creators. So
okay. Yeah.
They explain a bit more of it.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out what like the goals are, right, and how it works.
Yeah.
Because they're just flying around most of the time.
As a flock, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, flock of birds.
Yeah, definitely the grass and stuff does indeed remind me a little bit of Flower.
Mm-hmm.
And
the style as well.
The way the camera moves and around the character and stuff. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Next up, let's see. Of course, it is Ghost Bike.
Well, not really, of course, because it's brand new.
Yeah. But of course, it has to be something like called Ghost Bike. This is I like this art style because it's like a complete cell shaded style, just like the roller drone game.
Very Ollie world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in a bike, and there's a ghost, I guess.
Yeah.
At the front. I don't think this trailer does show a lot, right? He's just biking, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't really know what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you bike around.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure if it's racing or if it's story driven. It's from an Italian studio. So I definitely got some Tour de France feelings from this.
The Ride of Your Afterlife.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think it's definitely. I think it's story driven.
Yeah. But it seems like
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's always difficult with these trailers to know what the game is like.
Yeah.
That's sure looked like a racing segment sort of. But then there's also the parts where you're lonely. There's definitely like a boost there.
Yep.
So I don't know. Okay, we'll have to wait, I guess, for more information.
Yeah, we'll wait for gameplay trailers.
And then next up is Glass Revolver.
Yeah, it's a developer spotlight, so it's not from Warwick.
Oh, okay. This is developer. Okay, see, that's why I got, because they show titles of games and studios when they do the little window, so it's kind of confusing for me.
That's what Annapurna always does.
Okay, interesting. So it's not a developer talk. But that doesn't tell us very much for this thing.
No.
Okay, next up. A game that was already out for a while, but it's now coming to I think Xbox. And it's the horror game Mundown.
I really haven't played Mundown.
No, I heard it's very good though.
Yeah. Oh, it's available natively on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So it's rated for those platforms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good ports. But I heard this one's very good. I just heard a lot of people praising this, and that it's genuinely creepy as well. So so it might be fun for people to look out for. Then next is we have Bounty Star, which is a combination of a mech game and like base management. So there's combat with a mech.
Yep. Which does remind me a bit of the Surge and Dark Souls and that sort of game. Those sort of games.
Yeah. So, I think you collect resources from that, I guess.
Yeah. And of course bounties.
And of course, you're a bounty hunter, right? So
and from what I know from the trailer is that you also have several characters that drop by your base, and you have to interact with them, and so there's very much a story in there.
Yeah.
But mech combat is always fun, so this one might be interesting.
course, the rise of mech games are coming. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know how long this game has been in development, but
Yeah. I mean, it might not be for you if you're not into farming sims, because apparently that's in there as well.
yeah,
There's farming sim elements in there.
yeah.
So
So yeah, this is multiple things.
Yeah.
If it's a good balance, then at least that's nice. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
not just constantly fighting or constantly doing farm stuff.
Yeah.
Like if they can balance that right, then it's probably a fun thing. But yeah.
and it does mean that it's not forever.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, mech lovers will probably not play this. At least if you're purely in for the mech combat.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a little update for Stray coming to Xbox.
Yes.
That's nice.
Fine.
It's fine. Then
It's a good-looking game. So
yeah, it's great. And then we had Thirsty Suitors.
Yes.
Which also got an update.
Yeah, updates. So these are basically just the title updates.
Mm-hmm.
Games that already are there. Then Storyteller, also an update. Free update with all new content. So we're gonna skip over that because
it looks interesting.
Yeah, I think
I still have it on my
I've
list.
Yeah, I saw the game. I thought the idea was interesting, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the end,
It's also coming to mobile through Netflix, by the way. Storyteller.
Yeah, I
So
saw
if
the
you have
Netflix logo.
subscription.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
Okay, and then from the creators of Edith Finch.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, they
the
apparently
most surprising one.
Yeah, they got a very, very expensive, I think, license. And yeah, they came with a Blade Runner game.
Yep.
So we don't know exactly what the gameplay is, but what I can see from what I can guess is that you're basically doing detective work.
Yeah.
And the scene where in the movie where Deckard like analyzes footage and he can even turn angles and stuff. I think you're like investigating scenes. I'm not sure if it's a scene of a crime or stuff like that, because they're talking about worlds that have that are not there anymore or gone. And yeah, you see these monitors, and so I'm guessing that you're just gonna do a lot of detective work in the Blade Runner universe.
Yeah, so you're gonna enhance.
Yeah, enhance 34 to 37. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
using the tools.
And what's also interesting is that from what I understood from the synopsis, that the replicants have disappeared.
Oh, okay.
In 2033, so it's set between the movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's called Labyrinth, though.
Yeah, Labyrinth. Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's it. And that was the biggest surprise of this entire showcase.
Yeah, of course they left that as the last the send off, of course, at the end. But yeah, that's about it for the Annapurna thing.
Yeah.
Really cool. I'm a big fan of Blade Runner, so I'll probably check that out.
Yeah.
When it comes out.
Yeah.
All right.
And the fun part is, Annapurna always has some interesting titles.
Yeah, definitely. Also in the movie stuff as well.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, then the big story of this week.
On to the main topic,
which is also still ongoing, sort of ish.
Well, we're waiting now.
Yeah, we're waiting now.
We're just waiting on the verdict, which will probably land on Wednesday.
All right, so
sooner, according to some.
Microsoft.
There's very little chance it will hit before the 4th of July.
I from what I understood from Hoax Law, for instance, they're expecting it this weekend. So, and they are very noticeable, of course, on law stuff. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Tom and Derek aren't expecting it. The Verge is not expecting it, and
yeah, but they're not really law experts. So.
No, but they've been in the room.
Yeah, that's fine. But like I said, there are other people that are more acquainted with this sort of stuff on the law front, and there's at least 2 of them that are saying that it might even land on Sunday. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
So yeah, I had to catch up a little bit on this news because I wasn't too deep into it. But I wrote some stuff down, some interesting things that came out of this stuff.
Very interesting.
because people could join the call and the live what's it called, and then listen in basically.
Yeah.
So people just literally were just writing everything down that happened, and you had to of course interpret things because we couldn't see faces. We just heard voices. So
yeah, and even that changed at some point.
Okay.
Because only people there were people that were warned that they couldn't stream the audio.
Oh, okay.
For others.
Yeah.
So if you manage to get in, you're in.
Yeah.
But if you didn't manage to get in, you have to be reliant on people that are using transcripts.
Yeah.
Written
exactly.
transcripts. Yeah.
So yeah. Overall, I think because I've listened to some commentary on this, is that it seemed that the FTC doesn't really have enough convincing evidence to basically make their case that this acquisition is going to be a big threat to anyone. But because
except for Sony.
Except for Sony.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. That's the entire FTC defense. It was all
which is
Sony.
stupid.
They
should have went with the consumer side of things.
Yeah.
If they said it was anti-consumer instead of parading themselves in front of Sony, they would have had a better chance of stopping.
Yeah.
They would have had a stronger case. But they went fully in on it's not fair to Sony instead of saying it's not fair for consumers. It's gonna stifle competition. That would have been a stronger case, and they didn't go that route.
No,
which is very interesting.
No,
also, in the end, with the closing statements, they did go a bit in that route, but Judge
they got
Corley
pushed in that route.
Yeah,
the judge actually said when they started to talk about Sony, the judge actually said, "What about the consumer? Not Sony, the consumer."
Yeah,
and then
I like the judge a lot.
They actually they got pushed into that defense. It was like a small slap on the wrist, like you should have done that instead, and not just in your closing statement.
Yeah, I think there was multiple times where the judge would just jump in, and she basically just recognized when like she understood the topic. I think better than some of the people that were there.
Oh yeah,
which is really cool to see.
Yeah, but she also has experience because she already did the case with the Gamer versus Activision Blizzard King merger.
Okay.
So I think it was Gamer versus, and she struck that one down quite fast. So she was already knowledgeable on the entire case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So some things that came out of this. Call of Duty was a big talking point, of course, because everybody does know that COD is a big name. But they had to keep telling the same story that Call of Duty is staying multi-platform on current and future PlayStations and streaming and whatever. Because Microsoft understands that Call of Duty is something you need to get in. You have to keep that multi-platform, not only because less people will play it then, but also because gamers will probably not like that if you're making it exclusive.
There's going to be a lot of backlash.
And that's gonna
if they're gonna do that.
that's not good for you as a consumer. So you get your exclusive somewhere else. And they try to keep talking about COD a lot, apparently. And it's actually funny because Microsoft also said, if we acquire Activision, we can actually bring it to other platforms where it wouldn't be in the first place. So Microsoft actually said, okay, we're still going to bring it out all platforms and new platforms where COD was not on before. And actually,
you know what the point of that was is that Bobby Kotick, he doesn't like the streaming platforms.
No,
he is not a big fan. So that is why stuff like Call of Duty, isn't really on the streaming platforms or the subscription services. which is funny because on the day he said that, it was announced that Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War would come to PlayStation Plus as a free to own game as long as you have a subscription on PS Plus. So that was kind of funny.
Let's not forget that that's an old game.
Yeah, true.
He doesn't care about that one anymore.
It's not the new one, of course. But so it's also funny that he said that and immediately was asked, why are you selling to Microsoft then? Because they have the intention to do that. But the answer to that would be very simple. He just wants all the money.
He wants
from
out.
that sale.
He's done.
He's done.
He wants his
out.
golden parachute, and he wants out.
Yeah. He wants to jump that. Interesting.
Plus, he said a few years ago that Activision Blizzard is not a stable company, and they would crumble within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And
So he just wants to collect his paycheck. He wants to hand it off to somebody who might be able to save a quote unquote sinking ship.
Yeah, it's not
and
really
be done
sinking
with
ship,
it.
but yeah.
Well, the development cost is growing exponentially,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
they're having a hard time,
Mhm.
staying viable.
Yeah.
And the second COD drops off,
Mhm.
which eventually it will. It will go down. It will not stay popular for the next 20 years.
No.
Nope.
It will. Activision Blizzard will be in hot water. The same with World of Warcraft is not the same as it was 5 years ago. It's not the same. Definitely not the same it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Those numbers are dwindling. There's a reason they're not giving those numbers because they're not doing that great.
No.
They're probably able to pay for the upkeep, but they're not making big bucks.
No.
Nope. And then of course there's Overwatch 2, which is kind of failing.
Yeah, that didn't really find its footing.
Nope. They messed up with that a lot.
Yeah. And
Hearthstone kind of died out. Heroes of the Storm obviously got killed.
Diablo 4 is doing okay. It's doing well.
What's doing okay? Sorry?
Diablo 4.
It's
That's
doing
doing well.
okay. But I earlier in the podcast I said I had my caveats, and I'm not the only one. There are people who are not happy with the
seasonal stuff.
Not just the seasonal stuff, but the cosmetic store that's in there.
Oh yeah.
You can buy a horse for more than $10. Horse armor is back, by the way. There is the season passes that you're gonna have to buy to get that cosmetic stuff. The way seasons are gonna be structured, it's definitely Diablo was never a live service game, and this one definitely is.
Yeah.
And we've seen in recent years that live service games are having issues. They're not maintaining. A lot of them are shutting down, and Diablo might be the next one to go.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely a live service game instead of just that's why leveling takes forever, and it's just
you just immediately know when you're walking around and you see other players walking around, and you realize, oh wait, this is not old Diablo, this is MMO Diablo.
Yeah.
And everything's gonna, like, you wanna, because why did they do that? Why did they have that those features, those multiplayer features, so people see other players' armors and get that little tingle from, oh, I want that. And they just added that to something that was usually just it's a very solo experience, or at least or co-op experience, but now it's like a mini MMO where they try
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, where they try to get that extra monetization in, and they sneak it in just by that design. So you could see people with shiny armors, and have cash shops and stuff. So
yeah, I think it's just more than that, because they're also looking at the success of Path of Exile and Lost Ark.
Yes.
So they wanted to model it towards those games because those have been very successful.
Yeah.
But for Diablo, it doesn't work because it's a very different player base. It's a very different experience for Diablo.
Yes.
But it's exactly like Lost Ark.
Yeah.
It's the exact same type of game. Yeah. It is a live service game. It is a game that requires you to always be online.
Yeah.
it is a game that requires you to put in an exponentially large amount of time to get something out of it.
Yeah.
And it
And that's
doesn't,
not Diablo.
and it doesn't really accommodate the player for the time spent.
No.
And that's a problem I have with it. I'm an old man. I have a busy life. I don't have time to play this game for 6 hours in a row.
No.
And sometimes these dungeons are long. Sometimes I don't even have time to finish a dungeon. If I wipe on a boss 3 or 4
long.
times, I'm sorry, but I have to bail out. The problem is that I have to do that dungeon again. So I'm gonna have to go through the same content again, which is another 2 or 3 hours. This game is not generous towards its players. It doesn't value the player's time. It just wants you to keep putting that time in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't value its players. All it wants is just it wants your money and it wants your time.
Yeah.
And that's a problem with these live service games.
Well, that's funny you mentioned that, because I've played Lost Ark quite a bit and also Path of Exile. They value your time a lot, actually.
They value your time in the early game.
Oh,
They
well,
hate
also
you
later
in
on.
late game.
Okay. Well, that wasn't my experience, but I think they're pretty good. So
It's basically what what's the other game? It's very popular.
Destiny?
No, it's one of those. It's the gotcha one. Damn it.
I know what you mean.
Korean one.
Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
Genshin Impact, or the Tower of Fantasy,
Tower
those
Fantasy,
games.
yeah.
Those games allow you to blaze your way through, have a lot of fun in the early 40 to 60 hours. And after that, they're going to start asking for your money. And I kind of noticed the same thing with Ark, that Ark is, it's fine to get through the story up until like 40, 50 hours in. And after that, it's going to ask you to get resources that you either need to pay for or you need to put a lot of time into.
Right, but that's true. That's usually the case with Korean games anyway. Very grindy. Yeah.
Yeah, especially late game. Like because it goes back to there's a YouTube video that explains this phenomenally. But there's a design philosophy which is called that basically that they want you to they hook you, then they reward you, and then they turn your gaming into a habit. That's basically how every mobile game works. But that same philosophy applies to every live service game.
True.
Because they want you to turn it into a habit. They want you to log back in each and every day to do your daily. They want you to log in to get your stuff out, to keep engaging with their content. So eventually, because you consider it not just a hobby, but you consider it a habit, it's something you do every day. The reason that it becomes easier for you to justify spending money. I've played this game for so many hours, I might as well spend some money on it.
Yeah, that is true.
And that's what those Korean games are doing, but it kind of feels like that's what Diablo, or Blizzard in this case, is doing as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so fundamentally different than the older Diablo games. But now we turn into a Diablo discussion, and we're actually just talking about Microsoft.
Okay.
So
but it's a good point, because it means that they were already incorporating those elements into Diablo because they felt there was a decline happening. Yeah. And they thought, okay, we're working on Diablo 4. How can we, get more out of this game when it releases?
I think I looked at Eternal. Like, we obviously in the Netherlands we didn't really get exposed to Eternal, but other parts of the world did.
Immortal or Eternal?
Immortal. You're right. I said Eternal,
okay.
But Immortal.
Just
Diablo Immortal. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was thinking Eternal, Immortal. Oh yeah,
yeah.
right.
So it got banned here instantly because of loot box mechanics.
Yes,
but it brought in a lot of money. Like the first couple of months you heard about that game, it was like it brought in a couple of million in its first day.
Yeah,
and it kind of kept going. And right now you don't really hear anything about it anymore. But I feel like they looked at that game. They were like, okay, we're making a good amount of money. And we're going to try to incorporate at least some of it. Like, we promised we wouldn't go full loot boxes on that game.
Yeah.
Well, we can definitely get our money's worth on cosmetics. And I'm pretty sure, because that's the way Blizzard is training its user base.
Mhm.
people have a lot of FOMO over there. They want
Oh,
their
yeah.
stuff. I used to
Yeah.
experience that with Heroes of the Storm. I said it
Mhm.
before. I used to own every freaking skin in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but people are gonna buy their cosmetic horse armor. They're gonna buy their crap, and you can't even ride your horse until you finish the main story. By the way, so
Yeah.
even
So
if you
stupid.
buy it now, you can't use it, which is
Yeah.
absolutely stupid. But yeah, Blizzard is looking at ways to make money off its players, be it loot boxes, be it live service games,
Yeah.
because the monthly subscriptions on WoW are definitely not sustaining that company.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everything changed when Mike left, or actually the old Blizzard folks left,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just
StarCraft
it's a
people,
different
yeah.
company.
Yeah.
It's a different company.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so another thing about Activision is that there were signs that Jim Ryan, or there was like a thing that appeared that Jim Ryan got really nervous about an email, and everybody was still wondering what the email was about.
Mhm.
And apparently it was a very sneaky thing that if Microsoft buys Activision, all the current titles will stay multi-platform, right? But there are some other titles that Jim didn't think about before, and that's all the old Activision franchises. There's a lot of games that are like in basically in cold storage that
Yep.
Microsoft can now take out and build a whole new,
Yeah.
whole new lineup of the reboot series and all that stuff. The fact that Phil Spencer was wearing a Hexen shirt.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's one of them.
Yeah, that's one of them.
One of them.
So
Yep.
so Jim Ryan got really nervous because of that, especially. And Jim Ryan has been saying like a few things. Like he was also worried that multi-platform games would get a worse version on PlayStation.
Yeah, which I think is
That's dumb.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's
Absolutely
just
ridiculous.
a way
Yeah,
of
that's
whining, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, it was immediately, of course, slammed by developers who were on Twitter.
Mhm.
It was like, no, that's not how it works.
No.
As developers want to make the best game because our
For
name
that
is on the
platform.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even said something along the lines like they're gonna introduce a catastrophic bug in the PlayStation version,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
will be significantly less than on any other platform, and people will leave the PlayStation in droves.
Yeah.
That's I don't know. I think that's just fear mongering. And there was that's absolutely just a pile of garbage.
Yeah.
What he did do, though, because he is a little bit scared, apparently there are early versions of PS6 dev kits going around already. He didn't send them to Activision because, it might
Because
end
it
up
is
in
good.
Microsoft's hands, and they don't want that. So they
God.
decided not to send it over, which is interesting because one of the things they are very adamant about is they want feature parity. And the other thing is they want day and date releases, right?
Mhm.
You can't have day and date releases if you don't give people your dev box.
Yep.
No.
There's
That's
just
gonna be
no way.
interesting. Mhm.
So either Ryan is going to shoot himself in the foot here, and that's also something the judge said. Like, if Sony doesn't hand over their development kits, Microsoft or Activision can't develop for that system.
Yep.
So it's Sony's choice not to have it day and date with the other platforms.
Mhm. Yep.
So that was kind of an interesting observation they made there.
Yeah.
Also interesting is that apparently new Xbox dev kits also went out to other developers, including developers that are working under Sony.
Yeah. Like
So
Bungie.
it didn't happen both ways. It's not like Microsoft is
Just
as
holding
scared
it?
as Sony is for
No.
for handing over their hardware.
No.
Yeah.
I think Jim Ryan is very scared of losing the next console generation. Very scared.
Yeah.
And this is what and this has led to some interesting choices by him.
Yeah.
And not really good choices in this case.
It's so interesting to see this skill where Sony was like in a big lead, And then starting with this Summerfest season, where Sony's press conferences was like, meh. And then Microsoft is like,
they're having an off year.
They're having an off year. Of course, that's probably one of those things that's going to catch up again, right? There's, of course, PlayStation has new games in development.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting that they're so nervous about it, about all these things now.
Because they don't have anything probably for the next 2 years. They're going to have a drought. Because
maybe a year. But we'll see.
The thing, Wolverine is probably coming next year. That might be. But
that's a big one.
The thing this court case actually showed us is that development cycles nowadays are 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
So they became longer.
Yeah.
It's insane.
That means that if you want to have these, and I know we kind of hate this term AAA games, it's gonna take a while to get there. And Sony's been hitting these marks, bringing these big games to the table for the last couple of years.
Oh yeah.
But they're currently out.
Yeah.
So either by the end of next year they might have one or two titles.
Yeah.
But Microsoft is starting to get into that groove. They're starting to release their games coming next year. That's basically what we saw in the showcase. Everything was 2024. 2024 was, like I said before, Xbox is always just 1 year away from being great, but it looks like they actually might pull it off this time.
Yeah.
Finally.
And it's because, all the big players, like Naughty Dog and Santa Monica Studios, all those big studios just basically blew their load with their big titles in the last few years.
Yeah.
So they're now in the development stage again for their new games.
But they're working hard. At least I know from Santa Monica Studios that they're working on a sci-fi game.
Yeah.
So
but it might not see the light of day for the next 2 or 3 years. At least.
Maybe we'll see.
So it's going to be very interesting to see what next year's showcases are going to be like.
Yeah.
Well, what we did see is after the last showcase, it was at least at Amazon. The Xbox Series X started selling, or its sales increased by 1,200 something %.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if they used to sell 1 and now they're selling 12. Obviously, it's in perspective. But it looks like at least that the console base is picking up.
Yeah, which is fine. I also know that here in Europe, there are currently some stores are advertising that we have an Xbox Series X on in store, but pick it up now because in September or October the price is going to go up €50.
Yeah, I think
it's going up pretty much. They're just following what Sony did.
Yeah.
A few months ago, so Sony upped their price by $50.
Yeah.
In most regions except for the United States, which is kind of
same
weird.
with the Xbox.
The same with the Xbox. They're basically following suit.
Yeah. And of course, the timing with Starfield's release, which is really like there's so many people I've seen like I gotta have an Xbox, I guess. So that makes sense, of course, and throw the price up. I mean, aside from like the Starfield controller and headset, I wonder if they're also gonna do an Xbox with the color scheme or something.
Oh, that might be.
That would be cool, right? At least I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
There we go.
I want to pick up the controller as well.
Oh, you got it. Oh, look at that.
I got it for Father's Day.
Oh, jeez. Nice. Yeah, very cool that they were already selling those early. I think a lot of people were surprised that they were already available. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just bought. I got the Elite one that I bought a little bit ago, which is really good as well.
It's fantastic.
So I don't need a new controller. Otherwise, I would have probably gotten that one. But yeah, let's see some other interesting things that came out. Concerning, of course, Bethesda, because that was another big acquisition.
Starfield.
Yeah,
I should
exactly.
move up slightly because you're getting blurred.
Oh, sorry. Better?
Yeah, slightly.
It has to be in the
there.
It's looking for the center, right?
I gotta do something with my lighting again.
Can you angle the cam just a little bit downward? Or is that not? I mean, we don't have to do tech stuff right now, but Yeah, it always tries to find the center point, and then it's going to focus on that.
I'm moving a bit forward a bit. Maybe that helps.
Probably. Okay, so Bethesda. Of course, they came up. They were talking about Bethesda because that was another big acquisition, and some interesting details. Because the reason they bought Bethesda was basically purely because of Starfield, and the fact that Starfield was going to be an PS5 exclusive, or at least they were planning on buying Starfield, or at least make Starfield exclusive as a title itself. And Microsoft was like, oh, nope, we don't want to do that. How can we make sure that doesn't happen? Because we're already because that was the period where Microsoft was going, on a decline. What do we have to do to save ourselves? We're going to buy Bethesda. Just let's do that. And of course, now they have Starfield as an exclusive. And of course, it makes kind of sense why they did that. But it's still a really crazy move to buy a whole publisher. It's it's a funny little detail that came out of that.
Basically, Sony's been bullying Xbox quite a bit.
Yeah,
they've been buying for third-party exclusives. They've been literally throwing bags of money at the publishers.
Yes.
To not bring their game to Xbox. They would basically say, okay, you would probably sell 2 million. You would probably make about $2 million out of the Xbox. So we're just gonna give you that money up front, and you're not gonna publish it there.
Yeah,
that's what they've been doing, and I kind of get that Microsoft is kind of getting fed up with that because it stifles
a competition, right?
It stifles competition for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because why would you do that? Like I kind of get it for your personal studios. You're not bringing it to anything else, especially not day and date.
Same.
So I kind of understand. Still, I'm not big into exclusives, but I get that you need something to differentiate yourself from the competition. So you kind of want to do that.
And you want to sell consoles.
You want to sell your box, right? That's what you want to do.
Yeah, and that what you do with that, you always have a first, like you have some in-house development studios. Sony has the big names in there for years now, and Microsoft is just needed a little bit more, I guess.
Well, the thing is with Microsoft, in the era of the Xbox One, they also got rid of a lot of studios.
Right.
So they didn't really have a lot of first-party content. So after a while, they started buying. I think it was under Dun Metric. So they started to load up.
Screwed it up.
Yeah, not just with getting rid of a lot of studios and canceling games in development, but also with the presentation of the Xbox One and the way they wanted to profile it.
They didn't want it to be a game console. That's the problem. They wanted it to be the center of your entertainment system.
Right. TV.
That's what they... Everything was TV, right? So, they screwed up the Xbox One launch. Don did that back then.
Yeah.
And because, let's be honest, the Xbox 360, they had a really good lineup.
It was
able.
The best year.
It was very strong. Yeah.
They were exceptionally great, especially on the multiplayer stuff. Like if you wanted to play with friends, Xbox was where you would do that.
Yeah.
PlayStation kind of caught up at the tail end of the PS3. They changed the PSN around.
Yeah.
They added trophies midway because Xbox already had the achievements in place, like day and date.
Yeah.
Sony really needed to to play catch up during the PS3. They had the PSN hack that knocked them out for 6 to 8 weeks. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, if you got Killzone Liberation because of the PSN hack and you picked up that game, you can play it on your PS5 now.
Yeah.
Just so you know. You can pick it up from the store. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a side note. But the Xbox kind of hit its stride back then, and
then
for some reason the PS3 still outsold it by the end of the lifespan, but it was a really close race.
Yeah.
And then the Xbox One happened, and that completely that blew a gap between those two.
Yeah, that hurt them a lot.
That hurt me a lot as well.
Yeah, and now
I
they're
think it hurt everyone a lot.
yeah,
I mean,
and now they're still playing catch up.
I now use it as I just use it for TV now. I actually use it for my Beamer setup that I have here to watch movies on. And of course, one good thing about the Xbox One is that the backwards compatibility is really great.
Yeah.
So I can play all my favorite old Xbox and Xbox originals on it.
Yeah. Even if they're on disc.
Yeah. That's the good thing about Xbox, because they still embrace their old stuff. You can play original Xbox games, most of them at least, and you can play most, if not all, of your Xbox 360 games. You can play all your Xbox One games. The only stuff that doesn't work on the Series X is the Kinect stuff, because you can't hook up your Kinect.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
It's logical. Yeah.
So if it doesn't need an additional peripheral, you can just play it.
Yeah, and they upscale all the stuff as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So you get higher resolutions of your old games as well.
And for PlayStation, they support everything from PS4, but they don't support anything PS3 related because of completely different architecture.
Yeah,
and they just
different
can't
chips.
get that running.
Yeah.
So you have to stream that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they do often add some new games to PlayStation Plus. With the premium range, of course.
I'm not happy
older
about
games.
The premium.
I understand.
It trickles in. I just paid. I forgot to cancel mine, so I just paid another $120 for it for a year. And they trickle in that stuff. Like, Essential, I kind of get, which is basically just get your free games a month, which is fine. And then there's Premium, which is a fantastic offering, because there are some good games in there. There's some
extra
first-party games in there. Is it extra? Yeah, it's extra.
That's extra.
So it's extra. And then there's Premium that has all the old stuff. And if you go through that list, it's less than 30 games.
Yeah, it's
so
a bit.
It's a bit, and that's after a year. So I'm not really feeling it.
No, I get that.
Unfortunately, I paid for it. So
but the premium also allows you to stream stuff. So cool, but
I'm more of the. I have 2 PS5s in this household.
I know.
I don't need to stream anything. I can just install.
I know. Actually, you can't even stream PS5 games yet. They are still working on that.
They're working on that, but they did announce that they will. I also still have a PS3 here, and I have about 70 games, so I think I'm good.
Yeah. No, I get that. So,
other than that, Bethesda-wise, they also asked a question about Elder Scrolls 6, because of course they had already announced it, and the big question is Elder Scrolls 6 going to be exclusive? In which Phil answered, "We don't know, because it's so freaking far out. It's like basically, it's probably in pre-production now."
They uncovered an email that he said back in 2021 in a meeting that all future Bethesda games would be Xbox exclusive.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is that right?
He said that in the meeting. That's true.
Yeah. But he might have backtracked on it now, but he said that a year ago.
But
a year and a half.
Outwardly, they did say it's going to be case-by-case basis. So that is a bit of a flub from him.
Okay, that's definitely conflicting, because they said, we don't even know on which platforms it comes out, if there are platforms.
But that's the thing with the Bethesda stuff. They said, we're going to do it case-by-case basis, but back in 2021, he did say, going to that in the meeting, that all Bethesda games would be Xbox exclusive. So that's a bit of kind of a lie.
They would be Microsoft exclusive. That's where they're going.
I think I think what they did that is that that original message was to hook people into Xbox, and now they're using the argument from, "Oh no, we don't know yet," to defend Xbox. Yeah. So to say from, "Oh no, we don't know yet," just to make sure that they don't seem greedier or
they basically do the same. Yeah, they basically do the same thing with
Indiana Jones,
with the CEO of Microsoft saying, like, we don't want exclusives. We don't. If it's up to us, we would release Halo on PlayStation. We would release Halo on the Switch or on a Nintendo console.
Yeah,
we would have it anywhere because we would make more money.
Yeah,
which is a very understandable business decision.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
I mean,
you can't do that if
no.
the other party that you're actually putting your games onto,
Mhm.
they're going to get 30% of the cut because,
Yeah.
except for Epic, everybody's taking 30%. Like Valve is taking 30% on the PC side of
Mhm.
things, and
Yep.
Sony and Microsoft are taking it on Xbox. That same 30% cut. That's basically the mainstay, except for
Yeah.
Epic. Other than,
Yeah.
but the problem is that every Starfield, for example, they would sell on PlayStation. Sony would take that 30% and they would buy third-party content and they would
Yeah, that's their
block it
claim. Yeah.
from releasing to Xbox.
Yeah.
So they don't really feel like they can go the route of having no exclusives because they
Mhm.
would have problems down the road that somebody
Yeah.
would basically bully them with their money.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So if
But
everybody would release, like that's why I feel like Nintendo and Microsoft are kind of probably are gonna have a little bit more crossover between their
mhm.
IP because
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't care if Microsoft has well, what Microsoft does, they have Ori, which was a Microsoft released game, and
Yeah.
it came to
Mhm.
Xbox without an issue.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have to look at Minecraft as a different thing. Mojang, Minecraft is its own beast, and they're pretty much
Yeah.
hands off.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, that's the thing, though. He said that they don't want exclusives, but at the same time, I did mention Indiana Jones just a bit earlier. Indiana Jones was in development contractually for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. And now, when they acquired Bethesda, they immediately changed the contract to just be Xbox,
Yeah.
and PC.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of really doesn't fit with me when they say, "Oh, we really don't want third party, we really don't want exclusives," because they could have done it differently and just do
Yeah, but
abide
Indiana
by that
Jones, isn't
contract.
that the same thing as Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Because
no,
Spider-Man is not owned by Sony.
no, true, but I mean, they fought, they paid for that license. So and the license was already paid for with that first contract. So yeah, it's
so
weird.
did they, right? Xbox paid for the Indiana Jones license because they own Bethesda.
Yeah, but it was already paid for. It was already in development for the
Yeah, but
PlayStation and.
they did the acquisition, right?
Mhm.
And if you do the acquisition, you actually you pay for what is owned.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
technically, they bought the license. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter
they
if
did.
Bethesda already owned it; they bought the license.
Mm.
Yeah.
No,
If the
I'm looking
license
at it
wasn't at
differently.
Bethesda,
But
they might have paid a little bit less.
yeah, so it's a weird situation. I don't think that it's comparable with the Spider-Man situation.
No, it's just
But-
more. I mean, this is why I wrote this sentence down. Is that Phil described
Mhm.
it as they wanted a counter to something like Spider-Man,
Yeah,
where they have.
that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, exactly. But I wrote it down
But
so
I'm
nicely.
not. Yeah, but I think that is a bad way of looking at it, because it was announced when it was announced. There wasn't really no platform, but everyone just kind of assumed that it was going to be for all platforms at the time because Machine Games was developing it and Bethesda wasn't bought out yet.
Yeah,
so,
but now they took that opportunity, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of understand why they did that.
Yeah, but it still feels
Just look
wrong.
at Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
There's no reason that shouldn't be on Xbox.
Mm,
13
yes,
was on
true.
Xbox.
True.
It is the
15 was on
same thing.
Xbox.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not a big fan of third-party exclusives. In this case, it's the Spider-Man license isn't a third-party game. It was never going to be a third-party game, or never going to be a multi-platform game because they got the license just for their console. So it's not really comparable in that way.
They didn't get the license just for their console because it released on PC. Obviously later,
I mean,
because
later, yeah, they
the only
amended
reason
it.
they released it later is because they want to get those initial PlayStation sales.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like they only got the license for their console because otherwise it wouldn't release on PC.
I think they did, but eventually, because the game's been out for a while now, so they had to negotiate a new contract for the PC version.
I'm not
down
sure
the
if
line.
that's the way. I
Because
think now
when
we're just
Spider-Man
speculating.
first, but when Spider-Man first came out, there were no plans to bring games to PC, PlayStation
No,
games to
Herman
PC.
changed that. When Herman took control, he changed that.
Yeah, so they had to renegotiate a new license for the PC version. I think.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure. If
But-
that was the case, then anybody, literally anybody, could have picked up the license for either Xbox or the license for PC. Nobody did.
No,
Because
that's
the
not how
license
it
would have
works.
been up for grab. Yes.
No, that's
that
not
is
how it works. Though. No, that's not how it
That
works.
is.
No. So they got the exclusive license for their platform. For all, I mean.
Okay, I'm not going to discuss this with you. You should watch the Tetris movie because they actually explain licensing there.
No, I do
please,
know some
please
bit
watch
about
that.
it, but
I don't want to discuss this because it's going to be a yes/no story, and nobody's going to be happy about that. So I'm going to drop it.
Okay.
But please watch that movie or read up on how licensing works because it's a little different.
I do know
than
how it works.
You're portraying right now.
All right.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on.
All right. Another thing. Of course, also Phil stated that they already lost the console war and that winning it is not their current objective. Like basically they accepted that they're third place, so winning is not their objective, which means that they're not in like trying to get this deal to win now. It's more for like for the future basically.
They want to win in the future.
Yeah, looking at the future basically. They want to win in the future. Exactly.
Yeah.
Next gen, we're gonna get a console war. And
I
then
hate console wars.
It's just defeatism. I think it's just defeatism.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yes, they lost the last. What he meant by that is people built their digital. We moved from physical media to digital media. Or at least a lot of people did. Like we're collectors.
Still not a fan.
I know that Fosh is a collector, so he likes his physical games. I know that you're very much into PC games, so you're basically already you're digital. Let's be honest, PC is digital.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
but most console players, not us, not us specifically, but most of them buy their games digital now, just for the ease of it.
Yeah.
And if you build a library back on your PS4, you're not that inclined to move over to the Xbox because you already have a buttload of games you can play on your console.
Yeah.
And not everybody's gonna buy every console. Like, no, let's be honest, that there's only a small group that owns everything. I know I'm an idiot for doing that, but there are a lot of people who don't. So it's very easy if you did to go from PS4 to PS5 because you already own like 70, 80 games there that you can play on your PS5. And that's what he meant by losing, that people already have their library.
Yeah.
But that's where Game Pass comes in, right? Because Game Pass gives you an instant library of 200 games.
Yeah.
Instantly.
Yeah. And that's why PlayStation had to rework their PlayStation Plus subscription.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of defeatism. Yes, people built their libraries. How many people go back to the games they already beat? Let's be honest. There are not a lot of people. I don't. Only if it's one of my favorite games, I might pick it up a few years down the road. But I'm definitely not playing every game I own multiple times.
True.
So yeah, I think it's a kind of a non-issue.
Yeah.
So other little detail, they were talking about the Nintendo Switch platform. I think they were also making some jokes about it being like a very low spec platform hardware wise. But then Phil sneaked in a little thing that they're also working with Nintendo with Switch, in the case that they basically confirmed that they're making a new Switch model or a new platform. Maybe
new platform.
Yeah.
It's not a new Switch. It's definitely for their next generation console. And I think there was it was Bobby Kotick that assumed there was that about the new platform. But,
okay.
Yeah, it's not really clear. It's also not very important because we know there's a new model coming. a new platform.
Yeah, that's
from
been the
Nintendo.
rumor
So
for a while now, right?
yeah. So,
Okay.
but there have been Switch Pro rumors, but I don't believe in those.
No, those are done and gone.
Yeah.
If there was
Okay.
going to be a Switch Pro, it would have released last year.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Nope.
It's not going to come.
Yeah. It's the same as Xbox saying that the Xbox Series X was basically the mid-gen upgrade, and not the because they came out with the S and the X together.
Mhm.
And Phil Spencer said a while back that the X is the mid-platform upgrade that we got in the previous generation.
The One X or the Series X?
The Series X.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of understand. The One X felt like a mid-generation refresh because it was 4K capable.
That was it.
Kind of
Yeah, but that was the last generation. So for them, the Series X is because they're not gonna come out with a new mid-gen upgrade this time. So that's why he said that the Series X is basically the mid-generation upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. If
yeah,
you
comparable
consider
to the One
Series
X.
as
It's
the
a
base and then,
incremental step up, basically,
Yeah.
towards the next platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, the only reason we got mid-gen upgrades was because 4K was becoming more prominent within everybody's household, and that's why they did that. That's why you have the PS5 Pro and the One X.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't expect a PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't expect a Series X Pro or something like that. No.
Same here.
As you said, we talked about possible PS6 dev kits already going out, or very early versions of that dev kit. So they're moving on to the next generation already. Yeah.
Usually, what early dev kits are is just basically a spec sheet that says we're gonna target this, and that's what we're gonna get.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, next up, I think you've added this one, right, Peter?
Yeah.
About Canada, who says Canada is continuing to monitor Activision deal as Microsoft claims, all but one regulator on board.
Yeah.
I kind of love Microsoft's response on this one. It basically, if you would paraphrase it, it's basically "fuck you, you're too late."
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that was funny because when I added this to the document, the update wasn't there yet.
Okay,
it came later in the day.
I was wondering that.
Yeah. So Microsoft told the court that every single worldwide regulator that has examined the deal, other than the FTC, has rejected the theory it would remove Call of Duty from PlayStation should the acquisition go through, and that all regulators agreed withholding COD from Sony would be unprofitable and is thus not a serious concern. It also claimed all but one foreign regulator, namely the UK's CMA, had cleared the transaction. And Canada's Competition Bureau disagreed with those 3 points, however, with those points. And they wrote to Judge Corley to stress that it had communicated to Microsoft and Activision's Canadian Counsel that the Bureau has concluded that the proposed merger is likely to result in a substantial prevention and or lessening of competition with respect to gaming consoles and multi-game subscription services, as well as cloud gaming. And it also noted that it had told Microsoft that the Bureau is continuing to monitor the transaction. And later in the day, Microsoft came with a response that said, we received notice from the Canadian Competition Bureau that would continue to monitor our acquisition of Activision Blizzard after the formal waiting period preventing the deal to close expired. Microsoft spokesperson has said, we continue to work with regulators around the world to address any remaining concerns. So yeah, the CCB in this case is too late.
Yeah. Tough luck, buddy. You had your chance.
Exactly.
Hey, can we still? No.
No, exactly. And speaking of the CMA, let's continue right on. The Competition Appeal Tribunal, which is has oversight on the CMA, the Competition and Market Authority in the UK, has denied a request from the CMA that the adjournment of the hearing until October. They denied the request from the CMA that wanted to adjourn the hearing until October. So this means that the hearing will still continue in July, which is good for Microsoft.
Yeah. So,
So,
they're winning a lot here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know. It's was funny because I was always like on the fence of what is this good, right? Buying something so big, and then if you hear the arguments, they're like yeah, actually it's not too bad.
Well, it's not so bad.
No, not that bad.
Yeah.
Other little thing. There were a few documents that leaked info because they had a censored version, and then people also got hold of the uncensored version.
Yep.
Which was really funny because you could see exactly what they censored and what didn't.
Which one? Because there's two things.
Yeah,
one is from Sony and one is from Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, this one's from what I'm going to talk about.
This
is
one's
one from Microsoft. Yeah.
The Microsoft. Yeah. Okay. So they uploaded an uncensored version at the first.
Yeah.
And then had to scramble to upload a censored version. But, too late.
But yeah, too late because it's on the internet now. Thank you.
Yep.
And in there, you could see there's plans for studios, or at least their list of wanted, basically.
Yeah, these are old plans.
Yeah, old plans, basically, of what they wanted to buy. Options, basically. And there's some pretty big names in there, and things that they might still get. So one of the big ones is Bungie.
Not going to happen.
Which is funny because Bungie escaped Xbox. So I don't think that's going to happen. Another one is...
They got bought by Sony, so...
Yeah, exactly. So it's...
Sony's not going to sell Bungie at this moment.
Yeah, right. It's not going to happen anymore. It's gone. And then there's IO Interactive, the creator of the Hitman series. Yeah. Which is interesting.
They just escaped Square Enix. I don't think they're looking for a big publisher right now.
No.
Yeah.
Larian Studios, which is of course the creator working on Baldur's Gate 3 right now.
Yep.
That might be a possibility.
Yeah.
No, I don't see that happening because Larian Studios has always worked alone. They have survived since the 90s.
That's true.
So I don't think that's going to happen either.
They are working with Xbox right now to get Baldur's Gate 3 up and running there.
On the special
series.
I mean, there's issues with the co-op stuff, but it's already announced for the PlayStation 5, so I don't think it's going to happen that they're going to buy the studio. But who knows?
No, I'm not. It's not going to happen within the next couple of years, but maybe down the road. I think Larian Studios might still be on their list of potential acquisitions.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. They've always survived as an independent studio. So
yeah. Of course, if Baldur's Gate 3 will be a big success, probably so. They'll get a.
They might work with.
It's kind of weird because that game has been in early access for very, very long, and it kind of.
Yeah, but I
don't think there's a lot of hype behind that game anymore.
Yeah, but it's going to release earlier, right?
Yeah, it's going to release a month earlier, and there's still a lot of talk about that game. So
yeah, I think the hype's going to pick up again. It's going to release in August.
I hope so.
Yeah. And they also said, what was it, like 420 hours of cinematics? Or something crazy like that, which of course
people
doesn't...
are already nagging about Final Fantasy 16 having a lot of cinematics. Really?
No, but the thing is, because Baldur's Gate has so many different choices, it's not going to affect the game that much because you're not going to play every single cinematic.
No, and I think cinematics just means story scenes as well.
It could just be dialogue.
Yeah, it's just dialogue scenes, story scenes. Yeah. But because it's a true D&D experience, you're gonna get like completely different storylines with completely different consequences.
I'm looking forward to playing that game. I really
same. Yeah.
And then next up the list was Crytek, which actually kind of makes sense if they would do that, because Crytek has been a little bit out of the spotlight. They are working on a new Crysis game. But they had the Showdown game, which basically their self-published game.
Yeah, and they're still independent.
Yeah, and because they're independent now. So they're very good at game engines. And I don't know if Crysis 4, we haven't seen anything from it yet. That could of course be the next. Will my PC run Crysis 4? Kind of deal. That would be cool. I can see that. Of course, then there's Playdead Studios. What was that?
No idea.
Yeah, Playdead. No, it's a big one. Let's see. Playdead.
Really?
Inside,
Oh,
right?
they do. Oh, those are the Limbo and Inside people.
Yeah, exactly.
Might be, but I think because I think they're working with Annapurna right now for Cocoon or
Yeah,
not? No,
that's right.
that's not them. That's not them. No, that's it's the gameplay designer of. So it might be they're working on something, but we don't know what. So the last thing they worked on was Inside. The
That was a
gameplay
few
designer.
years ago.
Yeah, and the gameplay designer is now working on Cocoon. So I think he went away from Playdead. So
okay.
We'll see.
All right. Next up, Bohemia, which we know is the developer of Arma series and DayZ. Which funny little detail from this whole court case thing, DayZ 2 leaked. Basically, that is in development. I have no idea what that's going to be like, but for DayZ fans out there, DayZ has always been an interesting concept. And maybe a complete clean slate built from the ground up game instead of a mod for Arma can be very interesting. So I'm actually excited that little bit of information came out. Because I always liked the atmosphere in that game. All right, so next up, Supergiant Games, which of course we do know.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Nope. No.
Then there's Thunderfall. And let's see, which one was that?
They did the Gunk, which is on Game Pass.
Okay.
And Togus and Swordship, Wavetail. So yeah, they Lego Bricktails. So they're also a publisher. Yeah.
Oh, Planet of Lana.
Yes.
That was a big one as well. Interesting.
Yep. So that's that one's out right now.
Yeah.
They're also going to publish Viewfinder.
Oh, right.
That's just Steam and PlayStation, surprisingly. So the Gunk, for instance, didn't come out on PlayStation.
Okay.
Just on Xbox because Game Pass.
Right.
Wavetail is also for all platforms. Lego Bricktails for all platforms, and there. What else? There's Tinkertown, which is just PC, which has been in early access, and Planet of Lana is a Game Pass exclusive game.
Yeah.
And on Steam.
Interesting.
So yeah, that might be one that they might want to buy still.
Yeah.
But because they have a good relationship with them. But then again, there's also Viewfinder, which is only coming to PC and PlayStation. Yeah. So we're not sure what's going to happen.
Okay, then we have F11-bit Studios. The guys behind This War of Mine, Frostpunk, The Invincible, that new story-based exploration game. Beat Cop. I'm just checking out the titles that they did.
Yeah, Frostpunk.
Yeah, I said Frostpunk before. Yeah.
Okay. They're also working on Alters, which is about some sort of weird dimensional game. And Thaumaturge.
Oh, right. It's the moon game, basically, where you have clones of yourself with different personalities. Yeah. Interesting. These are all like indie studios, but pretty almost AA titles. Like they're high quality indie stuff, basically.
Yeah. I've played the demo for The Invincible and really liked it.
Yeah, I still really have to. I may jump into that one. Yeah. Then another big one, I say, because I hear that name a lot, is Paradox.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
No, they're their own. They're a very big publisher, and they publish quite a lot of good games.
The City Skyline stuff. Right.
Yeah. The new Sims clone or upgrade, whatever. Yeah. So.
Which was already announced on the Xbox Showcase as well. So they're basically already on the big pedestal for Xbox.
On all platforms, yeah. And Age of Wonders. So of Age of Wonders.
Yeah.
From Delft, which is funny.
Yes, Dutch going strong.
Yep. There's also Star Trek Infinite, a 4X game in the Star Trek universe that they're coming out with. So, and they have, of course, the what else? Crusader Kings, which is very big. So,
and the last one on the list, which is very curious to see, is Sega.
No, not that curious.
No,
because a lot of Xbox people have said that for years that they should buy Sega, especially since the Dreamcast failed.
Right.
But as in response, Sega's co-chief operating officer, Shuji Utsumi, has now dismissed speculation the company is still open to acquisitions.
Mm.
And he said, no, not now, he told Bloomberg. He declined to confirm if Microsoft had ever made a formal approach to acquire Sega. But following the court case this week, their shares have risen to their highest since 2007. So that's funny.
I mean, if you go to Sega, if you see the line of titles, like, okay, they're doing well.
Yeah, they are doing well.
Lately, they're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are only a couple of studios that are actually doing well. Though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's
Mostly
true.
the Atlas people for the Persona games, and
the Like a Dragon.
of course, Ryu Gagotoku guys. Also, Sonic Frontiers did very well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, but apparently the next one they're gonna. I don't know. They're gonna change a lot, and we have the 2D version coming out, so we're kind of. It's gonna be interesting to see what that does.
Yeah,
okay.
But let's be honest, Sonic Team is kind of hit and miss. They can make something great, but they are also able to make something that is absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think getting Sega would be the way for Microsoft to get a bigger foothold in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
There's also the issue, although that might be a little easier now with current trade agreements, but it's been historically known that a Western studio, a Western company buying a Japanese company is very difficult and might not happen because of the Japanese government. So
not just government, but also just Japanese mentality in general. They're not very open to Western acquisitions.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So another one that we should mention is Square Enix, because that one was on the list as well, but mostly for their mobile games.
Oh.
Somehow.
Yeah.
So
then I'm wondering what mobile games.
Yeah.
Because most of them got shut down.
I know. I mean,
it was an early list, of course, right?
Yeah.
So.
It was a few years ago.
Yeah. That was a few years ago when they were doing very well on the mobile front.
Yeah.
Especially with Final Fantasy. Yeah, Final Fantasy XVS, Final Fantasy Brave XVS. So yeah, the Pixel one, I think we both played those as well. But yeah, most of them are shut down right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts Cross something that used to be a thing.
Yeah, which is still playable, but just offline. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's no longer online. You don't get any new stuff, but it is what it is right now. So. Outside of that, we just have to wait, I guess, for the news.
Was it Sundays or the expected? Maybe it was at least a expected day where they could.
Yeah.
Or somewhere around Sunday.
Yeah, and if not, it's gonna be after Tuesday because that's July 4th, which is a national holiday in the US.
Course.
So, and then it's definitely gonna be Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very much in the open right now. Like I said, some law experts said that they're expecting it this weekend, but we'll see.
Interesting. Well, I guess we'll have to wait. This is a big story. We're getting to the end of it now. Really curious to see how this ends. I
think it's going to end in the favor of Microsoft.
Yeah, I think they're going to win this, and then they're going to probably do it, right? So
major shakeup in the games industry.
Another big one, yeah.
Yep.
We had a few of those in the last few years, so it's interesting. Like people are clutching onto all kinds of things right now to grow. Games industry has gotten really big.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the consolidation. It has to happen at some point, but you don't want monopolies.
No, that is true. But we'll have to see what they do with the new Activision stuff that they're probably working on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
because I'm really curious about that. The titles that we don't know about.
Yeah, I do know that Phil Spencer has already said they have a vast library that they want to delve into.
Yeah,
and bring out new games. So
there was a reason he was wearing that Hexen shirt.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hexen is going to come back in some form.
They have Bethesda, huh? They have id Software. They have Machine Games.
If they get a Activision Blizzard, they got Raven, which is the original developer for Hexen. So
Yeah, I think
And blood.
I think it's already a hint. I think they're already working on a new Hexen or a
Yeah.
reboot or whatever that is.
Mhm.
Because you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't like. I know
No.
Phil Spencer is personally a fan of that
Mhm.
of the game. So,
Yeah.
but it's also a hint. Like,
Yeah.
he knows how gamers work, right? We analyze the screen, we see that T-shirt, and we're like, "Oh, Phil."
He always does. He always has some kind of knick-knack in the background.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Mhm.
On the
Yeah.
some kind of
shelves.
Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would know that if he would come out with a Hexen shirt, people would speculate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
even if probably they have an agreement in place that even if they, the merger gets blocked and they don't get it,
Mhm.
they're probably gonna publish Hexen.
Yeah.
By collabing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting though.
It's gonna be interesting.
It's interesting that it's specifically Hexen, since it was sort of like a sequel to Heretic, which came before.
Yep.
But yeah, a fantasy first-person stuff thingy. I'm always interested.
Oh yeah.
All right. So, any closing thoughts on this whole case?
It's going to be an interesting couple of days, and I'm really interested to see how Sony will react. If we get a public reaction, which we probably will, because Jim has the tendency to not put his foot in his mouth. So,
Oh, he has a tendency to do that. Yeah, 100%.
So I'm very interested to see how Sony will react to this.
I'm glad on vacation.
It's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen in the next few days.
Mhm.
By the 18th or 14th, correct me if I'm wrong, the merger either needs to be approved or Microsoft will have to pay $3 billion to Activision because they're basically breaking the deal. They would have to renegotiate terms.
Yeah, I misread that first, and I saw that it said 3 million. I was like, that's not that bad.
No, but yeah,
3 billion
fine,
is
they're buying the
crazy.
company for $66 billion. That is an absurd amount of money.
It is, yeah.
It's the biggest acquisition within the game industry so far.
Yeah.
Also, on the cusp of ending this podcast, the Lord of the Rings Gollum studio Daedalic reportedly lays off 25 employees and they're exiting game development. The second Lord of the Ring games is also canned.
God.
That's a shame. That is a shame.
Was that breaking news right now?
Yeah, it's earlier today.
Okay, earlier today, right.
At the end of the
No, not early. At the end of
at the end of the day, Eurogamer did it around dinner time.
I feel a little bit sorry for them, but on the other hand, come on.
They did bit off more than they could chew.
Yeah,
I was going to say that. Damn it! No, that's cool.
Stole my line.
It's cool. Stole my line. Damn it! No, but it's a shame. Yeah. I feel for the people that got laid off.
Yeah, that's always shitty.
I hope they end up at a good place. And it's a shame that it didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just they did some really good stuff as a studio.
Right. I think that's gonna be doing it unless you guys want to take up the remaining stuff.
Is there remaining stuff? I don't think there is.
The Valve stuff.
That's just.
But that's a short thing, right? So
that's a very short thing.
We can talk about that very briefly.
Yeah. So there's one person that wanted to upload his game. He had according to that person, temporarily had AI stuff in there, AI assets. And Steam shut him down and said, no, we don't want that in our game. Understandably, because they don't want to be liable for any legal issues, and there are currently several court cases happening.
Yeah.
They're in development still from Getty's images for the Midjourney and DALL-E and Stable Diffusion that have all used.
Your audio dropped for a second.
Okay, so
no, it didn't drop for me.
So.
Okay, so it's your issue. It's your issue, not.
Yeah, but it's not going to be on the stream, right? So.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Anyway, so Getty's Images has sued some companies for their data sets that have been trained on their stock photos. And right now, and it's already been concluded that if a picture isn't made because of that image with the photo of the monkey that made a picture of himself, it isn't made by a human, so there's no copyright on it.
Hmm.
And in this case, if you don't own the assets, if you don't own the copyright, you can't upload your game on Steam, which is an understandable position to take.
Yeah, very happy about that, by the way.
Yeah.
That's why they killed Dolphin.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They don't want
So,
to be
yeah.
liable for that kind of stuff because that can cost the company.
But
It
I'm
can really hurt
glad
something.
because all those people online that are trying to attract developers,
Mm-hmm.
like presenting their big plans for
Mhm.
AI, they're all gonna
Yeah.
look at that and like, oh.
Yeah.
So it's a win
Yeah.
for us as the anti-AI people.
Not just that, I've already seen several voice actors warning others for read the contracts really well because they're trying to sneak in
yeah,
wording that will use your voice for AI stuff.
I know what
And
you're
it
talking about.
fucking sucks because that's going to hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what we talked about AI in an earlier podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Metzman and I. So
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I'm anti-AI, but I'm definitely not on the same page than you to
no.
argue
I know what you
more
mean
avid.
because there is some stuff
There is
that's
a use case, but
There's a use
definitely
case.
not within the creative space. That's
Exactly.
how I've.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Same here.
On
Same
Yeah.
here.
I'm on the.
one more thing.
yeah.
Forgot to put it on the list, but there's one more piece of news that probably has Sony gives Sony a headache, which is
Okay.
not related to the FTC.
It's PSVR.
The PSVR 2 is
knew it.
reverse engineered and is available, and you can actually use it on PC
Yep.
very
Oh.
shortly. Like they
Yeah.
didn't release the drivers yet,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna need to run it through Raspberry Pi because it needs to be translated, and so you need to run it through a buffer.
Okay.
But they have it up and running, and I've already seen a video and pictures of somebody running Half-Life Alyx on PSVR 2.
Oh my
and it
god.
works.
Yeah.
So I'm
So-
really happy. I have one of those headsets, and I can't wait to hook that up to my PC.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's probably gonna be at least a few months out because they're working on getting the software and the hardware specs for that
Yeah.
set up. But I'm really looking forward to doing that. And they said it might never happen. Like just a few months ago, they said like it
would
might
take
not happen.
years. It would have taken years.
Or it would have not been possible at all.
Yeah.
And they did it. They actually made
Same
it connect to a PC.
Yeah, same person who did the PSVR originally for the PC.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've been following him on Twitter, and I've been following his progress over the last couple of months, and it's been a roller coaster. And he just had a major breakthrough this week.
Yeah,
So,
that was incredible. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you guys know a guy by the name of Lance McDonald, who is a really good guy to follow on Twitter, by the way. He reverse engineers games, and he now got Bloodborne running at 60 frames on PS5.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. He has a video on YouTube, so you can see how Bloodborne looks on PlayStation 5 at 1080p 60.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, of course, everybody's like, oh, God damn it, this random guy can do it. Why can't Sony just step in and do that? So
or hire that dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now it's already done.
IP Microsoft is going to get is going to be Sekiro.
Yep.
It's not on any of the lists, but it's Activision owned.
Tenchu as well.
Oh,
Tenchu as well. That one's actually on the list. Yeah.
That would be really cool to have an actual. We don't have a lot of ninja stealth games that are purely stealth, right?
Yeah. So Tenchu was really good in the PlayStation one.
Yeah, I remember being really hyped about that game. Just sneaking on rooftops and stuff. Really cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's gonna do it for this week then.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right. The big story of Microsoft is over, and we'll probably next time talking about the end result of that.
And the fallout, perhaps.
And the fallout, that comes from that, because it's a big thing.
Yeah.
All right. Let's close it down here. Benjiro, what are your plans for the coming week?
Hopefully get some physical therapy and get back into gaming.
Oh, right, your arm thing, right?
Yeah.
My arm is still ruined.
Oh no.
But yeah, I think that I might give Final Fantasy 16 a shot, and we'll see where it goes from there. Hopefully try to get into Diablo 4 a little bit more, but that might be a lost cause.
Okay.
And I just bought Anno 1800, so I might do that.
1500, right? Oh, 1800. No, it's 1800. It's 15 euros.
Yeah, it's $15. So
Numbers.
I'm checking out the Steam sale, and we're gonna run through that. So
Cool.
not a lot of gaming. Also got my new car this week, so we're definitely gonna need to joyride it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay.
It drives itself. It scared the heck out of my wife. I just let go of the steering wheel in a corner.
Yeah, I saw a very
She's
funny.
like, "What are you doing? The kids are in the back."
Yeah, there's a very funny video by the voice actor of Guybrush Threepwood, who sits like in the back of the car, and he's filming. And he's like, I know he has commentary on the driving, and then he goes over to the seat, and there's no one driving the car because it's auto drive, and you see take the camera to his face like. It's like it's a ghost steering the car or something. It's really funny.
Oh, okay.
It's a funny little thing. But self-steering cars, really creepy. And where can they find you, Benjiro?
They can find me on Twitter at Pixels Sprites. They can also find me here on this channel, which is on Twitch, which is Pixels and Sprites, and they can find me on YouTube on Pixels and Sprites as well.
Yes.
If you want to watch this podcast later, when we're done here on Twitch, you can find it on Pixels and Sprites Live.
Nice.
Yeah. If you just follow the account on Twitter, we'll post it each and every month. Also, if you follow these other guys, they usually either like it or repost it. So you can follow older podcasts, and maybe if you missed one, you can follow them later.
All right. And Vash, what are your plans for the coming week?
Well, it depends. I got a heavy week coming up.
Right.
Yeah. I'm very open about it right now, but I'm currently going through some much needed therapy. So I'm going to be focusing on that. But I'm also I'm gonna get Ghost Trick in really soon. I ordered the physical Asian version because it's not getting for the Switch. It's not getting a physical release in Europe or in the US, unfortunately.
Sad.
But it's also out on all the other platforms now, which is great because it was originally a Nintendo DS game, and not a lot of people played it, and it's really fun. So definitely give it a try because Ghost Trick is a great story and it deserves more
attention.
Yeah, and I'm also going to continue with Tinytopia because it's just a fun puzzle game.
Fun little toy game, yeah.
Fun little toy game. No stress, just some stress if you do the balancing act stuff. But yeah, might pick up some other stuff. I don't know. So
okay.
Yeah.
And where can they find you?
Still on Twitter at PVBikun. That's PVBA. BAIKUN. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And for me, I have vacation. At least today starts my vacation. So I'll be a lot more active online. I'll be a lot more streaming. I have a plan to play through at least Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, the HD version for Wii U. I'm gonna probably alternate it with Super Mario 3D World. And whatever I feel like playing, of course. I got a bunch of Steam games that I want to dive into. I also let's see, because of course the Steam sale is going on, and I got a few games in my cart for that as well. Nice. One of them is Zero Seaford. It's like a 2D top-down version of Tarkov, but single player, which is really interesting. There's this game called Q Remastered, which is a puzzle game where you draw lines that all obey physics. So it's like a puzzle game where you have to get a ball from one side of the wall to the other, and so you have to draw like lines that obey physics to make like seesaws and stuff. Nice. It's a really funny, like chill out game. And also Return to Monkey Island, which I haven't played yet. I was kind of like on the fence about that game, but I might just pick that up and dive in because I'm a big fan of the original games. So yeah, we'll have to see if they're in my cart. I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy them yet. It's one of those things where I'm just gonna browse and see what I want. Because I always want to pick up a few games when the sale goes on.
Nice.
But yeah, that'll do it. So it's going to be a little fun. I'm going to be streaming a lot. So keep an eye on my Twitter, which is at the Matsman, TheMatzman. And that's where you can find me for all social media stuff, Twitch announcements, and all that stuff. So
follow him, guys, and send them all the bits. So send them all the bits. Send them all the subs, because this man needs a Switch because he's running out of Mario games.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Nah, I think I'm good.
He's gonna have to rebuy Super Mario 3D World with the extra stuff.
Nah.
On the Switch.
I can't wait for him to try Odyssey. Odyssey's fantastic.
Oh yeah. Also, that's also a good one. Yeah.
And let's not forget, Wonder's coming.
Wonder is coming. Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Because you know, I have
and Super Mario RPG.
Oh yeah, that remake is coming as well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I hope
Mario.
We need a port of Thousand Year Door, man. I want to replay that game.
Yeah,
I still have the GameCube version.
Yeah, I had it, and of course I sold it with my dumb ass. So
you fool!
Yeah. All right, that's it for today. We're gonna say goodbye now, and see you next week.
Yep. See
Later.
you next week.
Bye.